This is FCM on DR Sports, and it's live.
Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola. Two insane documentaries have come out in the last couple of weeks, and we're here bringing you FCM Extra. We're bringing you some extra content. This is what we're doing this season. We're leveling up, and of course, I got my boy Culture Cams joining me. No Mayor today. He is sick, unfortunately, but we got a lot to get through. Have you seen both documentaries, by the way?
Yeah. I haven't finished Pep Guardiola's one, but I've seen a lot of it.
If you're at home, you haven't watched it yet, please pause this video right now. Do yourself a favor. Go and watch all 3 episodes of the Jose doc, all 4 episodes of the Pep doc, and then come back to this, because we're going to talk about the ins and outs of both documentaries, what we kind of enjoyed, what we didn't like, some of the highlight moments, and then kind of maybe having a little conversation at the end about who would we rather play for. Get involved in the conversation, as always, in the comments. Make sure you like the video as well. But Cams, talk to me. Where should we start? Jose or Pep? Because Pep one came out after.
Ooh.
Jose came out first. Yeah. By the way, do you think that was intentional? Because I saw the Jose one come out and everyone seemed like they was loving it, praising it. And then a couple weeks later, Pep, typical fashion, comes out afterwards. And everyone's looking at the Jose doc now like, I don't know about that one, you know.
You know what it is, though? You know what it is? I think the difference with the 2 docs was Jose's was a lot of stuff that we already know, I think, right? Yeah. We already know what Jose's done in his career. And I think Jose didn't really want to speak too much about the lows. And even when they asked Jose about his dad, he didn't want to get into it. You know, his dad that passed away. So I think Jose was protected himself a little bit more. Whereas Pep's was very raw. Pep's was a very raw situation. Also, it makes it sadder because, like, he's leaving, you know what I mean? Jose just got a job of his life again, you know what I mean? Whereas he's kind of leaving, and so it made it a little bit more emotional, and I think we saw a different side to Pep, whereas I think we saw kind of a lot of Jose, and also it was narrated in a way by himself. So he can control the narrative, whereas Pep's, it's like we're like a fly on the wall, right? So I think that was the two
Jose's
differences.
One kind of felt more triumphant. Like it's telling you a glory story almost, and you're following the journey through his lens, if you like. Whereas the Pep one was kind of more of a real life kind of version behind it. There's one point in the Jose doc I actually been itching to ask you about, because I remember obviously when he had his great successful Chelsea period and he waxed lyrical about that. After that, obviously he had the Inter Milan. He talked about when he left Real Madrid. There was the infamous phone call with Ferguson. Because I remember those early Chelsea days, him and Fergie used to go back and forth, and it was always like, ooh, could Jose be the guy long-term to replace him? And that felt like the perfect moment. Did you see that part of the doc and think, shit, what could have been? And did that moment set United back 10 years? Because imagine, had Jose been the guy to take over from Fergie then?
It's painful. It's painful to think about, bro. Like, that's like Jose is... No, but maybe I think Real Madrid took a lot out of Jose. But that is like... That's who you needed at that time. Even if Jose gave us 3 years and imploded, that Jose is a league title. That's still a league title, Jose. You know what I mean? So that is exactly who we needed, because Rio's respecting him. Vidic is respecting him. Patrice Evra is. Ryan Giggs is. Carrick is. Rooney is. These guys are going to instantly respect. And I think the David Moyes shift it just didn't work out, right? No disrespect to Moyes. One thing that I do like, though, is that it debunked the whole take that Fergie only wanted to bring in a guy that will never be better than him. And Fergie got a lot of heat for this Moyes situation. But now it's debunked. It's clear. Fergie went for Pep. Pep told him, I'm taking a sabbatical. I really appreciate it, but I need a break. Jose went for Chelsea, and Jurgen Klopp, he didn't really have a big conversation. But at the same time, Jurgen Klopp was an emerging manager at that point.
He was up and coming.
So Fergie did go for the 2 best managers in the world at that time. So I'm happy that is out there. Ferguson did not try and sabotage Man United, like people say. But yeah, man, that set us back a long time, man. Even 3 years of Jose. You know how much everything would have changed? Because if you had Jose, we wouldn't have got LVG. Do you get where I come from?
The ripple effect from that moment,
everything would have been different. We went and got LVG because we said, we need experience after Moyes. We need someone that's been there. So that it's just so crazy how everything would have been different.
Even
the whole program
even in
timeline.
terms of transfer businesses, I think would have been
You're bringing
so
in
different.
a big dog.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're bringing in some
100%.
Tony Kroos was about to join us with
I think
Moyes,
maybe
to be fair, but
would Ramos have joined maybe that summer after? Would Fabregas have joined that summer after?
Gareth Bale.
This is
well,
what I'm
maybe
saying.
Gareth Bale would have still went,
Yeah, but there's so many kind of things that you think about. Oh shit! And then it even kind of for me, kind of the era that he did have at Man United. It was later than he expected.
Yeah.
It always felt like he was overcompensating almost for lost time. It always felt like, and obviously it didn't go the way it planned eventually.
And I hate that he didn't talk about that in the documentary.
Same. That was one of the things I was going to say.
Completely over that part, and that's what I mean. Like
His relationship
I would have
with Woodward.
liked. Yeah, I would have liked Jose to go into. I think the documentary should have been longer. I think they missed out a lot of bits. Like I think Jose's most famous rivalry in the Premier League is with Liverpool, and he didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about Liverpool at all.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about him and Rafa Benitez
They
relationship.
talked about him and Wenger for
For a little period.
Yeah.
Wenger and Jose is seen as the clash because of the words. But on the pitch, it was Chelsea and Liverpool. They played each other so many times. Carabao Cup finals, league games, Champions League, the ghost goal. We didn't get any of that.
None of that, yeah.
None of that. Jose himself has said, that's the worst result of his life.
Yeah.
The ghost goal
ghost
game.
goal
He
in the
will
semi.
never get over that. And we didn't get that in the documentary.
I thought the Jose doc for me wasn't just because for me it should have been 10 episodes.
Yeah.
I think even if you're talking about the United years,
Yeah.
I felt like there could have been way more done on the Inter years as well. Like
it should have been an hour per
period, yeah.
era.
And even like this kind of later period with the Romas, I understand the Spurs one, there was all or nothing.
Yeah,
go
yeah.
and watch that over there. That should have been maybe the least part. But I was like, there was so much still left on the table. And I wonder how much got left on the editing floor in terms of just to make this a 3-part series.
Yeah.
But there was one part as well I want to touch on. I loved the fact that he didn't bend and he didn't change his mind on the Casillas situation at Madrid as well.
I do, yeah.
Because it was one of those where at the time it was seen as like, oh, Jose went against the guy who was the captain or whatever. And then there was a quote he said, there are things that I don't expect. When somebody doesn't respect me, it's a problem. This is Real Madrid. When you go to the national team, you can kiss the guy, but not now.
Yeah.
This is war. And I felt like that just summed up Jose in such a perfect nutshell.
Yeah.
And even in this documentary, it kept showing that kind of siege mentality he always used to take at every club. And Casillas was there still like, oh, I did nothing wrong.
Yeah. With a little smile on his face, like, well, if you think it's me.
I'm like, bro, everybody knows it was you.
He's like, who's the rat? Who's the lead?
Your girl was working in the media.
Literally.
You was laying in bed every night
Yeah.
telling all the secrets.
Yeah.
And then it's coming out and you're surprised. And I was like, I like the fact that he didn't bend, he didn't fold, he stuck to it.
Yeah.
But there was just so many points that I just still feel like could have been more in depth, more highlighted.
I think one thing that I do like is that, like, obviously, Jose's story, right? And in terms of his career. And honestly, I think if you're talking about from 2003 to 2010, or maybe even
I would even say
12,
12,
maybe
yeah. I would say to 12.
It's just that I kind of started thinking that Jose was losing his mind a little bit at Real Madrid, but I'll still give it.
But he did say, after winning the title in the second year, I was the one that chased Pep out.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
Bro, that's the thing. He says that the stress gets to some people, But let's say from 2000, let's say that 10-year stretch.
Yeah.
Wow. What
Insane.
a manager, man. Jose,
Insane.
that peak is, for me, that is
the aura,
that is
the
just
words,
everything
the
about
tactics.
the celebrity, the words, the mind games, the antics, the performances, the trophies. Jose was larger than management.
Yeah.
Jose is one of a kind, man. Honestly, and just the way them players would die for him, bro. I wish more players were in the documentary to speak, but the way them players would die for Materazzi's and
Drogba.
Zanetti, Drogba, John Terry, all these. Jose is something else, man.
No,
I think if Jose loves you, there's no other manager that gives you that feeling than Jose Mourinho, I think Pep Guardiola, you can say I'm not talking about this ain't GOAT debate.
But in terms of
I think if Jose loves you, you're never gonna feel more secure under a manager than anyone else, in my opinion. Jose, they say the word, he love bombs you.
Yeah.
He does love bomb you. And you know what love bombing is? Like over affection.
Yeah.
He does, but he makes you want to play. And that little period, he might exhaust you after a while, which Pep does as well. But man,
Bro,
that period.
even like to this day, I was seeing just on the weekend, Yan Diomande coming off the bench. And he's like, I will die for Jose. I'm like, bro, you've only been here 5 minutes, mate.
Bro.
But it's the effect that he has on you. It's almost like, I've always said, and I think Twitter has always said this as well, we should actually be grateful that Jose went into football management, not into politics and war. Because God knows what this man could have been had he gone into another field. Because it's actually scary to kind of, the authority he exudes, if that makes sense. But speaking of Pep, did you hear about the Pep being called up to be in the Jose doc?
And he didn't turn it down.
No, he didn't turn it down. He said, I want Jose to personally call me and ask me. Jose said, kick rocks, my guy. So then obviously, that's where I was thinking.
I wish that was in there. Jose, call him, man.
No. But this is
him.
where I think Pep, that happened. And then Pep said, all right, when's the drop date on the Jose doc? We're setting that for 3 weeks
That's
later.
like when Michael Jordan dropped Last Dance. He said, Michael Jordan called them and said, yo, run the Last Dance filming now as soon as LeBron done his 3-1 comeback. Run that. Let's start filming.
Easy. Nah, he said, get that talk out of here. But speaking of obviously people who made you feel, people who made you think, let's move on to the Pep doc a little bit. And I felt like this one was, as you said, the Jose one was more about triumph. And the Pep one was almost more like life after success. What happens when those curtains go down and the show is over? Was this the most human side you've ever seen of Pep? Because I feel like Pep's always been seen as this like supercomputer, tactical, who's just, all he cares about is the X and O's. And now we've seen, like, I'll be real with you, this documentary, like I had a level of respect for Pep, but now it's just gone to another level where I'm like, yo, I'll run through a brick wall for this guy. But did it make you feel like that as well?
You know what it is? With me, I felt, how can I explain it? I felt sorry for him, to be honest. For me, it looked like a manager that was overstayed his period. I'm not going to lie. Even though they won 2 trophies last year, it looked, and I was saying it on commentary, like when we're talking football. So to see it behind the scenes did feel a little bit like confirmation to me that Pep was done at that period. So the human side is something that we don't factor in at all enough about when we talk about football, because we saw how much his marriage took a toll on him. We saw little newspaper articles about it, like, oh, you know, that it's affecting.
Pep is going through a split,
going through a
blah,
divorce.
blah, blah,
but you're just thinking, what's that got to do with how you're putting your Foden on the pitch, right? But you see it in the team talks. You see it in your everyday behavior. You see it when he's walking around a training ground. You saw an exhausted man. That has an effect. I remember there was a thing about when Pochettino left Spurs, right? When it started going downhill, he never came to the training ground. He would watch training from his computer and the CCTV. That has an effect on what these guys are going to go do on the pitch. Because now when they're listening to you, it's not hitting as much. I didn't see you all week. Now Pep is no energy. Some of them have been there for a while with Pep. Think about Stoneses and Fodens. They've seen Pep when he's got the fire in his belly. Now he's basically begging them, like, please, my life is on the line here. I need you guys to. So it was a lot. I also think it's a lot of pressure on the players. Pep's marriage and how much he was putting on them was also a lot of pressure on them, in my opinion. But then is there not, like, for me, there was a part of me that I was almost frustrated with the players. I know you kind of understand that aspect as well, because I'm looking at it as like, you've seen your manager in the good times. You've seen, as you said, when the fire in his belly, when he's rocking on all 10s and you're like, I'll do anything for this guy. But now when the chips are down, now when it's like backs against the wall, results aren't going well, and then he's telling you about his personal life. I always think when that personal life comes into the workplace, all right, now we need to take stock. Now we need to handle the situation. And I felt like the City players just almost was like, as you said, we've seen this messaging type thing. Like, and what kind of highlighted that for me was the Kyle Walker fallout. The Kyle Walker one was the one where I was just like, bro, you are nominated as captain by the teammate. You've got Pep crying in the halftime. By the way, never in all my years of life did I ever think once a manager ever cried in a team talk. The fact that it was Pep who was crying because his captain spoke back to him and he feels like he's let him down because if you feel like I'm pointing the finger at you, then I failed at my job. It's like, huh? You're not willing to go to war for this guy who's telling you basically, my life is over. I'm staying on, even though things are going down, I'm staying on for you guys because I don't want you guys to feel abandoned. And it felt like they were abandoning him. You know what it is, I agree with that. I do agree with that. And that's where I think there is maybe a difference between how messages are relayed when you look at Pep and Jose, because we're talking about both of them. Listen to the way Eto'o spoke about Jose when he said, Jose's going back to Stamford Bridge. This result isn't for Inter Milan. this is for Jose. We're making sure Jose does not leave Stamford Bridge without a dub because he had told us this is more than football for me. You know what I mean? And Jose said, this was me versus Roman Abramovich. Them players would die for Jose.
Yeah.
And it just maybe depends. We don't know what Pep and Kyle Walker's relationship has been. For Kyle Walker to come out and say, you never wanted me as captain. Clearly, there was a fracture between you guys somewhere down the line. But we have to remember, the reason why I'm saying I did feel sorry for Pep in that moment, and I do understand that he wanted to be part of a rebuild for them. You know, leave them in a good state and then go off. And he's putting his not life on the line, but his mental health on the line. But Kyle Walker has been in the news for madness. He's going through child custody. Kyle Walker's going through things. So he's probably thinking, yeah, I'm going through things too. Phil Foden, I know last season was going through things, newborn baby. He was going through things. So these guys are probably thinking, yeah, mate, we got stuff in our life too. You know what I mean? Don't be putting... So that's why I'm saying, I do think he put a lot of pressure on them by bringing in his personal life to them. Do you get what I mean?
I do get it.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
I always just feel like when you're at that top 1%, like Man City were at that time, 4P, treble, sometimes you've got to do those types of things to get that extra 1% out of them. You're like, I've given all the team talks and everything I could possibly do. Let me bring in something personal.
It would have taken he needed a Zanetti in there. You know, Zanetti
like a liaison.
He needed a lieutenant. Yeah. Maybe that was his Bernardo Silva and stuff. I don't know. But he needed.
You know, for me, that was one thing that actually annoyed me about the Pep doc, where I was like, yo, he's talking to the dressing room constantly and we're getting all these raw, unfiltered cuts. But why am I not seeing De Bruyne? Yeah. Why am I not seeing Bernardo? Why am I not seeing Rodri? The other leaders within the team.
De Bruyne's gone.
No, but at the time, he was still in the dock at the time in that first season. And I was like, why are the other leaders not... Why am I not seeing them talking in the dressing room about, boys, we're costing the team? I remember Rodri, there was a previous doc where he was doing a lot of that. Fabian Delph. And I was like, we need to see that from the other quote-unquote leaders. I'm seeing Kyle Walker constantly getting almost like picked on. But it's like, come on, there's other guys here as well. But one thing that really surprised me a lot was almost like, as you said, when his marriage and everything was falling apart, Pep's almost entire focus from like away from tactics and talent and to like this passion merchant where I don't care about the talent. Where is the passion? I want the passion. We lost the passion. And I was like, I almost taken aback by that. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a little bit also, I'm not a psychiatrist.
It's like he's come full circle.
I was going to say, I'm not a psychiatrist, but it's probably a little bit of PTSD from the Barcelona situation. He couldn't motivate them guys anymore. Dani Alves, I remember, came out and said he just couldn't motivate us. Like, he just couldn't get that drive out of us. I think he maybe started seeing that again. Like, damn, you know, I've reinvented these teams. I've had it going. But this lot now, and obviously, don't get twisted, there's a better team there in Arsenal that are around. Liverpool just went, this is the longest that Pep has gone without winning a title. So all of a sudden, more is coming out of him. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is unheard of for Pep to go 2 years without a title. So I do think a lot of that was going on with what happened at Barcelona all them years back, and it started to resurface at Man City. And I just think, him trying to get the passion, but that's, again, ties down to his personal life. Because he's waking up every morning, coming out here when he doesn't want to, bro. He doesn't want to do it because his passion in his own personal life is gone. And so, man, I think
like,
that's...
I don't want to lose that in my professional life as well.
It tied a lot down to the thing. But we always say about this modern era, we say these players are like robots, right? They just want to be coached. We're all on our phones. We all care about phones, our social medias. We go home to our girlfriends. Come and play football, get the coach in and play. They're not problem solvers like that anymore. They're not them type of characters that we looked at the Jose doc. These guys were proper characters that will figure it out themselves. I don't think that's the case anymore. So Pep is trying, pulling it out of them. But Pep, you're in the wrong generation, bro.
It's mad.
It ain't that man anymore, bro.
Was it the final game where he was like, all right, cool, you guys want to let me down? I'm going to change the whole team. And they cost him. And then the team talk after that was...
The Bayer Leverkusen. The Leverkusen game. You see when the gaff... Carl Doon was like, I'm so angry with
bro. But I'm going to talk to him in 3 days' time. I don't even want to see him.
I can't speak to him. I'm so angry. I was just like, yo.
But I will say, I did like that from Khaldoon as well, because it shows you know your staff. You know who you're working with. It doesn't help to just go in there like a bull in a china shop. And I think that actually helped City in terms of how they operate. And that's actually one thing I really did like about the doc, how they showed the behind the scenes of some of their transfers. And your boy, obviously, Cherky,
really good.
Talk about that, because that was like, obviously, we all saw it firsthand online about this Cherky attitude, myth and everything. And they were hearing it as well. And they all believed it until Hugo Viana, I think it is, did his background research and just turned out a myth. But what did you, when you saw that, what was you thinking about?
I love that insight. I would love to see clubs just do that separately. Like, forget documentaries. I would, like mini docs, like the process of signing so-and-so.
XYZ,
Because that was so interesting, because it makes me then think about other players in football who might have that on their name and they never get signed.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we will start saying, that's why he's a mid-table player. But you don't know what's being said behind the scenes, bro. You know what I mean? People, remember how many people associated Cherky being at Lyon until 21, which is still young, but it's at 21 because he ain't it.
Yeah.
He ain't it.
He's got a bad attitude.
All now it's because of what they're thinking about him mentally. And that's an intangible that never gets mentioned in football. We keep talking about a player's ability, a talent, his way he runs, the way he strikes. We don't talk about that side. And I think that is probably exactly what's happening with Rafa Leao right now.
100%.
Rafa Leao is 100% name popping up in all these rooms, and they're hearing, man, lifestyle,
not very strong.
Yeah, lifestyle, nah, I'm not sure. Definitely, the fact that he's going to end up at Aston Villa. This is a guy that was Serie A Player of the Year one time. We're talking about potentially best left winger conversations. Now he's going to Villa. So I think it's so interesting to see I would love to see who that has affected over the years. Because that could have stopped Ryan Cherky, who we're calling the best player. We don't know what could have happened.
There's so many even like failed transfers that I can think of. I remember, was it Mateta to AC Milan? Nabil Fekir to Liverpool. Like just the behind the scenes of why. I know those were like injury stuff as well, but then there's other transfers which have failed because of people's behind the scenes talking
or agents. You hear about an agent wants this.
Wants too much.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. But obviously Ryan Cherky still has that little element in him. You saw with Deschamps' situation, but apparently, I don't know, something happened in his personal life during the World Cup or something with Cherky. I don't know what happened, but you saw with Deschamps that it was very like, it's like a father-son kind of, like, you know when you got to discipline your son kind of vibe. And then even like Maresca, you see what Maresca said on the weekend?
What did he say?
Maresca said, I didn't play Cherky because I wanted to play only 4 people that have come back from the World Cup.
Yeah.
But then he was like, but he was making it very clear all game that he's unhappy that he's not playing. So he was making it clear. I don't know if that's in his warm-up, if he's looking, or if he's doing something. But Cherky has that about him. You know what I mean? But it's about nurturing that. It's about putting your arm around that. So I loved seeing Pep call him. Talk to him. That's why we're going to sign you. Yeah. I love that.
This why
that's how players come and die for you, bro. Yeah. Everybody's talking about my mentality. I got the best manager in the world telling me, I'm signing you, bro. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing your thing. Come on, bro. That is when you believe. You know what I mean? That's the same thing with
it kind of explains the relationship as well when Cherky did come in, because we were all thinking, Pep's going to coach us out.
And again, what was it like? Father-son? It was like the slap him on his head kind of vibe.
I'd say like granddad and grandson, where it's like, I was disciplined, I was hard on my son. But for you, I'm going to be soft.
Yeah, I was hard on Foden. Yeah. But I'm going to be cool with you.
Not have fun out there, lad. You know what I mean? So it was like that. But speaking of dying for managers, we've discussed both dogs. We've discussed both managers and kind of the personalities, how we've seen pretty much all sides of it.
Yeah.
If you were to say now, you're starting your career, let's say 18 years old, you've got prime Pep, prime Jose. Both are calling your phone and saying, I want to sign you. Who do you want to play for? Also, get in the comments, let us know. I want to know who you lot would play for as well. Now you've seen both sides of these guys.
What kind of silly question is that? Fuad!
Hey, yes.
Jose Way!
Hey!
2 real ones! Hey, look! We don't talk too much. Remember Jose, when he beat, who was it that he beat? He got that goal and he scored and he did to Liverpool. That's what we're doing right here. Just don't talk too much. Like that.
Yeah, I can't lie, I'm jealous. I'm very jealous.
Silly questions. Silly questions.
Jose, if you knew what he used to say about you, man.
I'm Jose's lieutenant. I'm a Jose lieutenant, guys. Come on, man. Hang this in the, what is it?
The Louvre.
Hang this in the Louvre. In the Louvre.
Talk to me.
Prime Jose. The way I felt like I used to play in terms of how I used to radiate my energy, I think is very similar to how Jose sees the game. But also, I just think Jose makes you want to. He's very psychological. Once he gets into your head, there's nothing else that matters. You know what I mean? I just think the way Jose used to coach these guys, used to make them run through brick walls, but then also used to give them that affection. I think that's what I would have needed or wanted more. Pep, I think, will process you with a lot of information and stuff. But Jose, of course, he's a tactical genius as well. But I just think it's so much more human with Jose. I just feel like you're so much more human connection.
I get what you mean.
Listen to the way Drogba speaks about him, the way Eto'o speaks about him, the way Zlatan, look at who Zlatan is. And he speaks about Jose in that way.
The way he speaks about Pep.
Yeah, bro. I just think Jose connects with you on a human level a lot differently. And
I think the players always said that as well, how like he would remember the 11th man on the bench, their fourth child's name and things like that. And that's the thing that Fergie used to get lauded for and praised for as well.
Yeah, like I just think Jose and Mourinho, just the siege mentality, the backs against the wall, that I'm going to come in and kill the opposition mentality, I would have liked to have played for that,
it's weird,
man.
because I feel like innately I'm built like a Jose player. Mentality, the way I play as well. But I think I would go for Pep. Because genuinely, I think Pep would make me almost twice better player than I am. Whereas Jose would just make me a more hardened version of what I already am, if that makes sense. And especially now kind of seeing this complete other side to Pep as well. I'm kind of like, yo, maybe I was wrong about Pep. Maybe there is that kind of, and I'll be real with you, there was moments in that doc where I was looking at the players and I can't believe, I want to run through a brick wall for him right now. And I think if I was in that dressing room, I would have been the same. So, and the thing with Pep is as well, as you said, he overloads you with information so much, but that can also make you buy in as players. I feel like that's how like those Bernardos.
He amazes you.
Yeah.
With his
like you're almost like, wow, this think tank, I'm never going to get this anywhere else. As you said with Jose, it's that feeling. He touches the heart. Pep touches the brain. And that's where I feel like maybe in my game, I lacked a little bit. And a coach like that would definitely help me. So I'd after the doc, by the way, pre-doc, I would have run through brick walls for Jose. Post-doc, I'm looking at it like, the thing is, Pep might want me over here,
If you're talking about the primes, like for me, prime job been out the whole career.
By the way,
obviously,
Pep would have got rid of me after one season.
Yes.
That many red cards. I can't trust you.
With Pep though, like with Jose, I just look at, as I said, I just look at the way people speak about him, man. Like Eto's and Zanetti's and even, what's my man's name? Is it Marathi? Marathi, the Inter president?
Oh, yeah, Maratha.
Yeah. Him, even the way he speaks, it's like Jose would write a check and cash it, bro.
Yeah.
Get me 5 players, I'm going to win you the Champions League.
Do you know the thing is that...
And he did. And he just... I don't know, man.
Knowing myself...
When he went and spoke to Pep after that red card, the Thiago Motta, and he said... You think this is over?
This is not how you win this game.
This isn't how you win. You're not winning, bro. Like that.
With Zlatan there as well.
With Zlatan there, bro.
Mind games.
It's just so good. And I remember Eto'o, saying when he joined, he thought he would hate Jose because he hated Jose because of the Barcelona rivalry, right? He hated Jose, but when he linked him, he was like, rah. This is my type of guy. And it's just, it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Weird because I feel like that would have made me too complacent, almost like assured that, my manager likes me. I need a bit of tough love. Pep gives you that, I can't lie.
Yeah, he does.
But let us know your thoughts in the comments. That was, I like that. We're probably going to be doing this, what are you saying, once a week? Every Tuesday, we're going to try and film and bring you a little something. If there's something you want to see us talk about, let us know in the comments. If there's something you see throughout the week as well, tag us on Twitter, tag us on Instagram. Let us know your thoughts on what you think about the docs. Who would you prefer to play for as well? Like the video, hype the video, all that good stuff. We'll catch you guys next time. Take care.